Hi, thank you for stopping by the eGen Solutions podcast YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate you as a subscriber. If you're not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click that little bell so you're always notified of the next podcast that we have out. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to Simon Rossetter. And Simon is from Ringler Consultants. Now, Ringler Consultants is a structured settlement company. They've been around since 1975. They're one of the largest in the US. But now you might be saying, Jennifer, why are you having a structured settlement company on your marketing podcast? I know it doesn't make sense, but it does, because I know that most of you are business owners and entrepreneurs, and you may be looking for an exit plan, thinking of retirement on the beach, or maybe you're just thinking about moving on to another venture. How are you going to sell the current business and move on to the next one? I think you might like this idea a little bit. It was something that I hadn't heard of. It's taking the structured settlement idea, but moving it into something that you can do for a sale for your business. It's called a structured installment sale. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm going to let Simon do the rest, but I'm really excited for you to listen to this. And if you like this, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Again, love subscribers. I will see you in the next podcast. Let's listen in. So thank you so much, Simon, for taking the time out to speak with me today, and of course, with my audience of small business owners. The reason I wanted to have you come on this podcast is there is something called a structured installment sale for business owners. So basically, I'm going to have you explain it better. I'm going to give this the quick version. Basically, when you sell a business, you have the opportunity to have a structured installment sale. And I think this is something that business owners do not know about. And I am so excited to have you on board to explain it way better than me. And I'm going to have a ton of questions for you. So thank you again, Simon, for taking the time to come with us. And why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with Ringler and all that good fun stuff.
Well, my name is Simon Rossetter. I am a settlement advisor at Ringler. I've been doing this for about 15 years now, and been at Ringler for 5 of those years. We're here to just help small business owners in the process of how do they navigate selling their business and ensuring that they're getting some guaranteed income out of it over a number of years, and help them with some of the tax issues that might come up with trying to sell their business.
Yeah. So I think it's fair to say that every small business owner at some point should have an exit plan. So I think this is just a really good conversation for us to have. Can you tell me can you give me a little bit more of a detailed description of what a structured installment plan is, or a sale? Maybe just give us an example if you could.
Yeah. So a structured installment sale is similar to a traditional installment sale, where the purchase of a business or property is dispersed over a number of years. So in a traditional installment sale, the buyer will pay the seller over a period of installment payments. That could be several months, several years. The structured installment sale allows the buyer to purchase the business or property at that time, a one-time deal, but the seller receives future guaranteed payments from a major life insurance company.
Okay.
So the advantage for the seller is twofold. One, they get guaranteed income. A lot of sellers are used to, and business owners, whether it be a single business owner or multi-business owners, are used to getting income from their business. And providing that guaranteed income over a number of years gives them the opportunity to keep getting paid from their business after they sold it. The other advantage is the tax advantage of doing it. There are obviously tax consequences of selling a business if it's profitable and you've made money in the business, and those tax consequences can be substantial. And by deferring that taxable obligation over a period of years, you're allowed to lower your tax consequences and provide yourself some guaranteed income in the process.
Right. And I think that's important. So versus getting possibly one lump sum, you're able to continue getting your monthly revenue or income that that really helps, especially if someone has sold a business and hasn't quite yet set themselves up for their next business.
Correct.
This is something that can help them with that I'm assuming can help with their
Correct.
adjustment.
100%.
Yeah. So for the seller, or for the buyer, is there any advantage for them to go this route as well?
Correct. So the one big advantage is what we call traditionally, like, filling the gap or closing the gap between parties. Oftentimes when a negotiation is being done on the sale of a business or a property that's being sold as part of a business, both sides are trying to reach an agreement as to what that sale price is. By including a structured installment sale as part of that deal, the tax savings or what the buyer can appreciate in tax savings can often be reduce the sale price of the deal. And therefore we can kind of bridge that gap. So if, the buyer wants $1.1 million and the seller wants $1.2 million, if we can negotiate the deal and offer a tax savings to the seller, then maybe we can reduce that sale price a little bit, meet in the middle, and therefore we're able to help resolve the whole deal and get it done.
Right. Okay. That sounds good for both parties, right?
For everybody. Correct.
Right. It does. So who do you think in this type of situation, who do you think would be the best candidate? I don't know if you can give like number wise or how you do that, but who do you feel would be the best candidates for this type of a structured sale?
Yeah, so typically the clients that we're working with are smaller business owners, 1, 2, up to 5 business owners that are trying to sell, or maybe the opportunity where one of the owners is trying to sell to the rest of their partners in the business, or someone that's looking to offload maybe property that's owned by a business. A lot of people are downsizing with everybody working from home and they don't need maybe as many properties or something like that. So someone that's basically they're looking to sell a part of or all of their business and have a significant tax consequence from that, or someone that's just looking to get guaranteed income out of the sale of their business. The minimum we're probably looking around is at least $500,000 is normally the minimum amount that we look at for these types of deals.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just really anybody that hasn't thought about it. And a lot of people don't. They just think about the sale of that business as a one-time single transaction. I'm going to take my taxes, I'm going to take my hit and go. But like you said, a lot of people should be considering this as part of that long-term strategy. Yeah. What am I doing with my business? What is my long-term goal for selling or, moving on from that business? And then how can I make sure that I'm getting something back that I know I'm getting guaranteed in the future?
Yeah. And I think the big thing too is if you're transitioning into another, or you're purchasing another business where you need to, start it, those startups are not that easy. And so it takes a while to generate income. So this can kind of help bridge that gap as well.
100%.
So you mentioned in the beginning that there is a traditional installment sale. Can you tell us maybe what the pros and you kind of did touch on it, but maybe you have some more advice, the advantages or disadvantages of an installment sale versus a structured installment sale?
Correct. So a traditional installment sale is done for one of two reasons. The first is either because the buyer can't fund the settlement all at once and needs to do it over a period of years. Okay. If that's the circumstances, a structured installment sale would work, but wouldn't be as beneficial because it has to be typically done as a single purchase. The real reason an installment sale is normally done is for the tax savings for the seller. Well, the only issue when doing a traditional installment sale is that the seller has to rely on that buyer to make the payments to them in the future. So they have to rely on the viability of that buyer to have the income to pay that to them in the future. And it forces that relationship to exist for however long that installment sale is in place. If anything happens to the buyer or insolvency or bankruptcy, then the seller is stuck saying, well, how do I go get my money? In a structured installment sale, a life insurance company or another entity steps in to guarantee those payments to the seller in the future. So the buyer can be done with the deal. They put up their money, they own the business or the property outright, and the seller looks to a major life insurance company for their future payments. So it's backed by, a highly rated insurance company that's going to issue those payments to the seller for however long they want them to be. It could be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, the rest of their life.
Gotcha. So because the insurance company is a part of this equation, is there something more that has to be done then in the sale? Because I'm assuming that insurance company is not going to just say, okay, let's do this. They're going to want to have their protections in place as well.
Correct. 100%. So there is obviously added documentation that needs to be prepared for the insurance company, just to check the viability of everything that's going on with the deal, to make sure that it's all on the up and up. And obviously we, as the settlement consultant, need to make sure that there's certain language that's included in the buy-sell agreement and everything else. Just for tax purposes, we got to make sure that everything's done correctly. The advantage is that there's no cost for a Ringler consultant to be involved in the process. Our services are provided at no charge to all the parties. But we obviously do want to make sure that we're involved early enough in the transaction that all parties are aware of what's being done, and we can work with the lawyers and the tax advisors to ensure that everything's being done. We did have one recently where someone came to us and say, oh, we're selling the business on a Friday. Can we get this done? And it's like, no, we probably need a couple more weeks than that, just to make sure that everybody understands the process.
But they thought of you, right?
They did.
It's a little too late.
A little bit too late, correct. We managed to get the deal done. It was a little bit of a rush for everybody to put it through. We like a little bit more time to make sure that we can have everything done.
Yeah, and I don't like rushing. That's when mistakes get made and people miss that's never a good thing. So I think you kind of answered everything that I had. I think I just wanted to know, and you kind of touched on that already, is how can Ringler help? Mm-hmm. And you kind of mentioned that it's free, right? Obviously you're getting paid in some form. And but about when do you, well, first of all, let us know how you can help, because you a little bit more, and then also when do you want to be involved in that process to make it flow well for everybody?
Correct. So I would say from the seller's perspective, we could start talking to people now. If they want to put us as part of the plan and start talking to us about the long-term goals they have, even before they list the business for sale, we can talk to them and their advisors and lawyers about how this works, just so they've got it in the back of their head. When a buyer gets involved and a deal is made or being negotiated, it's always a good idea to get a Ringler consultant involved in the process. Like I said, we don't charge for our services. We get paid a commission by the life insurance company, the places and the structured annuity for this purpose. So there's no cost. If we end up working for several hours and talking to everybody, and at the end of the day, they say, no, we just want a cash purchase. No one ever gets a bill from us. We don't charge for our services. So, but I would definitely say the earlier, the better. That way everybody gets a better understanding of the whole process, what's being done, all the documents that are, that need to be signed and completed. So we're not trying to rush through at the end of the day to get it done.
Yeah. How long has this structured settlements been around? Like, is this newer, or is this always been there?
Yeah, so structured settlements started in the late 70s, early 80s, and it was designed as a product for personal injury settlements, as a way for people that were receiving personal injury settlements to get guaranteed income over a number of years. And in that circumstances, it's a completely tax-free product because personal injury settlements aren't taxable. The idea of using that same type of product for what's called tax deferred or non-qualified type products started several years later with the structured installment sale starting in the early 2000s. It's been a process. And it's, we do this on all types of settlements, whether it be employment settlements, disability settlements, environmental settlements. This type of concept can be used to help defer the tax obligation for people. But the traditional structured installment sale, it's been about 15 years since it's been around.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was something that I don't think I've ever heard, just in my research of business and everything, I've never heard anyone speak about. So when I learned about this, I was like, that's actually very cool with the tax implications, of course. And then also if you are looking for that continual income and you don't have to rely on the buyer, that I think is a huge piece too. It's kind of a, you're done unless of course there's things in the contract. I thought that was pretty amazing. Do you have any other information you want to share with us or anything?
Yeah. So obviously the big thing is Ringler has offices all over the country. I'm kind of a subject matter expert in this area. But obviously if anybody wants to reach out, I'll be happy to speak to them and answer any of their questions. We can put them in touch with a local Ringler person. This product's available in 49 states and Puerto Rico. The only one it's not right now is New York.
Really?
So all those New York people, yeah, New York has different insurance tax laws and everything, but they're getting close. But all other states, it's available. Like I say, we can do it in the sale of a business or in the sale of real estate that's available. And yeah, we're just here to help facilitate settlements. That's kind of what we do. Like I said, we're available. Whatever anybody needs, reach out to us. We can answer their questions. And my information is there. You can email me or just click to refer a case, and I'll get an email with the information that you guys need.
Most New Yorkers are moving down to Florida anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a big thing. A lot of people.
Well, I don't know. I'm in Florida. It's like, are we in New York or are we in Florida?
a lot of people will do that, and especially if anybody is looking to sell out their business and retire, this is a great product for them, just so they can take that income and know they're getting something guaranteed out of it over a period of years. And the tax savings, in my opinion, is just an added benefit to it.
Yeah. And the other thing is there's no income taxes here in Florida. So it helps a little bit.
We're not tax advisors, so I'm not going to tell anybody that, but you are correct. There are certain states where it is more beneficial to end up when you are receiving the money. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So for the people who are listening right now, if you haven't stopped over at the eGen Solutions podcast YouTube channel, we do have this full video of our interview up. And what we are looking at right now is Simon's page at Ringler. And so this is just a little overview of you, correct, in your background.
Correct. Yep.
And I see your experience needs to be updated a little bit.
It does, yep. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is based on our personal injury world that we deal with. That's kind of our bread and butter, what we deal with. The structured installment sales is kind of new, kind of revitalizing itself again in terms of something, especially with everything going on during COVID and small business owners looking to the future. Speaking to a small business owner recently, and they said, I would just love to know that I'm getting guaranteed income. So if anything happens again like this, I don't have to, if there's business disruption or anything, I know I'm going to get some kind of income coming into me for the future. So depending, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but getting that guaranteed income is very important.
Who would have ever thought 2020 would bring what it did, right? And so I can't imagine as a buyer of a new business or even a seller of a new business having to go through that stress on top of everything else. So definitely something to look at. So your LinkedIn is here. So if people want to connect with you on LinkedIn, they can come over. Basically, go to Ringler Associates. I'll have a link in the video description. I'll also have a link to your page in your in the podcast. So for anyone who's listening in, just go to the description. You'll find Simon's link in our description there, and they can come right over, get your phone number, your fax. Do people fax? Well, I suppose you do have to fax.
We have some people.
So I've never had to try. Call me.
Still exists. Every now and then the machine goes off. Yeah. But yeah.
And then you can email or use LinkedIn. And of course, if you know of someone who's selling, you can also refer a case to Simon as well. So thank you very much, Simon. I appreciate your time. This has really been enlightening and definitely something I think a lot of small businesses might want to put on their radar moving forward. So thank you very much.
Of course, no problem. Thank you.